Hello, this is the first of a series of videos I intend to do on horary astrology. This is not by any means a course on horary astrology, but I think it's important to clarify some topics to make the public, both uh, y- uh, astrologers at the beginning of their careers and people who might be clients. It's important for both to know uh, what is this thing? What is this tool? And so I decided to talk about it. And in this first video, I'm going to talk about what is horary astrology. What is that we do when we say we judge a horary chart? Well, to understand what horary astrology is, we must understand what astrology is. And what is astrology? What do we do when we judge a chart? What do we mean by it? Well, a chart is a depiction, a schematic representation of the sky. So we are using the sky to say things about something, about a person, about the beginning of something, about the weather, about uh, an empire, a country, or a question. But why? Why do we do that? We do that because the cosmos, the universe, seems to be organized in an intelligent fashion. It seems to be linked by symbolic associations. Everything in creation seems to be a symbol of something else. This symbolic connection was recognized by almost every group of human beings that ever existed. We all have heard of ancient divination techniques. Some uh, some human groups used the flight of birds, the entrails of animals, small stones, shells, cards, coins, wooden sticks, different things to they we could say to divine or to know the future, but it's not exactly that. Although many people believe they are actually seeing the future in these things, it's not what they are actually doing. What they are actually doing is uh, glancing at the structure of things. These symbols seem to reveal the structures of that underlie everything. So, using symbols, we try to understand the fundamental roots of things, and that's why natal astrology works. We have a matrix of symbols, the entire sky at the moment, as seen through the point in which a person was born. And this matrix of symbols, it reveals symbolic structures, symbolic possibilities, the most general forms in the philosophical sense that make up the life of that person. So what we are doing is we're using the sky, the visual sky, although in a schematic way, that's what is behind the the charts, the actual things on our screens or on paper that we are judging, and using symbolic thought and a logical thought to understand structures in the life of a person. And that is what we do for everything else. We're looking at an election chart. We are trying to move what can be moved and understand what cannot be moved in the structures of that thing, that business, that company, that, I don't know, marriage, that country, that city that is being built, whatever it is. And that's the same thing with Horary questions. But what is the object that the Horary chart signifies? Because a natal chart signifies a person. A chart for a city signifies a city. A chart for a question signifies a question. So what is a question? What do we mean when we say we're at, somebody asked me a Horary question? Is it the words? Is it a linguistic sign? No. Words matter because words convey our intentions and what is going through our minds, even when it's not conscious. The words we choose to make a question tells the astrologer who hears it what is going through your mind. But it's not that the words are magical or the words are what the chart is judging. Or the question, the object that the chart is judging is something in the mind of the person asking it. And what is this thing? This thing in the mind of the person asking it, the question, is a situation from their lives with something that they don't know, is an image that was created by something that happened in their lives. The dog has disappeared. Their father is sick. They are going to have a job interview. They have been asked in marriage and don't know if they accept or not. They can be sick. Many situations in life may have a point in which the person doesn't know what is going to happen. I'm having a job interview tomorrow and I want to pass, but I don't know if I'm going to pass or fail. I don't know if I'm going to get the job. So this life situation, just real stuff happening in real life. And real here doesn't mean it has to be concrete, touchable. Could be a real doubt about a real series on television or in a book. But it's real in the sense that it's external to the person. And it's real to the sense that it has a thing, a point in it that a person really doesn't know and really wants to know. So this real life situation creates an image in the mind of a person. And this image, although it mirrors or it represents the real life, it is seen from the perspective of the person asking and from the perspective of what they want to know. It's like they're obviously not consciously, it doesn't happen at will, but it's as if the person was painting inside their mind a picture of that situation from the perspective of what they want to know about it. And this image has an obvious connection with the situation. And when they ask the astrologers a question, this image is transmitted to the astrologer with the fundamentals of the situation as seen from the perspective of the query. This is a question. Why is this a question? Because so far we have a real life situation. That's a real life situation. Then we have a doubt inside the person asking the question, right? But a doubt is not a question unless it reaches someone who can answer it. Now, when a doubt reaches a person that can answer it, it becomes a question. It's not hard to understand that. Picture a simple question as what time is it, for example. If I don't have a cell phone on a computer or a watch or a clock near me, I want to know what time is it. It's just a doubt. It's just something that bothers me and that I wish to know about. But if I reach someone that knows the time, that has a clock, computer, a watch, or a cell phone with them, I can ask them. And this is a question. It's a request for information. What time is it? You don't have to give too much context, but in some cases you do have to give context, so the person who is answering know what to answer. And sometimes, of course, I just find a watch or a cell phone, a computer or a clock, and then I am the person who answers myself. But in Horary, we usually find someone else who can answer it. And this is important too. We used to say that the sky answers our questions, and it's not entirely true. The sky is the clock or the cell phone screen. It has the information from which you can draw the answer. Why does it have the information from which we can draw the answer? Because the sky doubts inside the mind of the person asking, which has a symbolic connection with the real life situation of connections. The chart can answer what is in the real life situation. But the symbols are there, or they can look at that chart, at that representation of the sky, and answer it. So that is how horary astrology works. It works when someone who can read a chart receives a question from someone who has a real life problem and a doubt on that real life problem. And the chart answers that real life problem because the chart has a symbolic connection to the question, because they were both born at the same time. And the question has an obvious connection to the doubt inside the querent. Querent is a horrible but common word used to signify the person asking the question. And that doubt has an obvious connection with the real life situation. This is why the astrologer answers a question from the querent using the chart from when and where, that is, the time and the place, they understand and accept the question. Why understand and accept? Understand, because if you don't understand the doubt, it is not a question. If I ask, what time is it now, in Portuguese, my native language, to a Japanese, without doing any sign that can reveal what I want to know, the person will not answer me. They must understand what I want to know. And accept for the same reason. If you don't accept the question, it is not a horary question, and no one else can answer from the time you didn't accept it. Because by definition, a question is a request for information. A request for information can only be born when a person who is able to give that information receives the request. So the chart for the horary question is always cast for when and where the astrologer understands it and accepts it. So it is born when the question arrives to the astrologer. It is conceived or gestated, to use a birth analogy, when the person has a serious doubt about a real life situation. It means that a horary question is not only answered by a horary chart, it's answered by a horary chart independently from the birth chart of the person. You don't ever need to compare the horary chart with the birth chart of the person, because it's a different chart. It's a different birth, so to speak. So this is what I wanted to talk about today. I hope you enjoyed it. And another video on the same subject will arrive soon enough. Thank you for listening, and goodbye.